In the darkest days of World War II, as Nazi Germany tightened its grip on Europe, a Polish social worker named Irena Sendler stood against the tide of despair and oppression. Her story, nearly forgotten by history, is one of courage, sacrifice, and an unyielding commitment to humanity. In September 1939, Germany invaded Poland, igniting the Second World War. Warsaw, the capital, was transformed almost overnight. Streets filled with rubble, ration lines stretched for blocks, and an air of fear settled over the city. Soon after, the Nazis established the Warsaw Ghetto, confining over 400,000 Jewish people in an area barely large enough to accommodate a fraction of them. Disease and starvation ran rampant. Irena, a Catholic born in 1910, had worked in Warsaw's welfare department before the war. She was no stranger to poverty and hardship, but the plight of the Jews in the ghetto ignited a fire in her. Fueled by memories of her father's teachings, if you see someone drowning, you must jump in to save them, even if you cannot swim, Irena decided she couldn't stand idly by. Using her position in the welfare department, Irena obtained a special permit to enter the ghetto under the pretense of inspecting sanitary conditions. What she saw inside left her haunted. But within this despair, she found hope in the form of her secret mission, to smuggle Jewish children out of the ghetto and save them from certain death. Irena partnered with the underground organization Zagota, the Council to Aid Jews. She and her team devised ingenious methods to smuggle children out. Infants were hidden in toolboxes or wrapped in burlap sacks, while older children were smuggled out in garbage carts, ambulances, or even through sewers. Each escape was fraught with danger, and the penalty for being caught was death, not just for Irena but for anyone involved. Irena was not content to simply save lives, she wanted these children to have a future. To ensure they could be reunited with their families after the war, she meticulously recorded their real names, new identities, and locations. These records were placed in glass jars and buried beneath an apple tree in a friend's yard. I knew I had to take care of their future, Irena would later say. In 1943, Irena's luck ran out. The Gestapo arrested her and brought her to their headquarters for interrogation. Despite brutal torture, her legs and feet were broken. She refused to reveal the names of her collaborators or the children she had saved. The Nazis sentenced her to death, but Zagota managed to bribe a guard, and Irena escaped, narrowly avoiding execution. Despite her injuries, Irena continued her work in hiding. By the end of the war, she had rescued over 2,500 children from the Warsaw Ghetto. For decades after the war, Irena's heroism went largely unnoticed. It wasn't until 2007, when a group of Kansas schoolchildren created a play called Life in a Jar based on her story, that the world began to recognize her extraordinary deeds.